Shafiri, welcome to another episode of YDS You Don't Say. And if you're tuning for the first time, this is a platform where we come on as Amajita to have conversations around issues that affect us from day to day, from mental health issues, inyugu, entrepreneurship, the works, you know. And as always, I'm not alone. I'm with the big homie.
Yo,
Styles.
What's up?
Siso Styles.
Easy.
And
my name is Musiso, aka Siso Styles, and of course, You Don't Say. I think it's episode 3 of season 2, right?
Yeah, you would know, my man.
How about you? And then today, it is introducing, I don't know, but it is what we call African excellence, where we bring in cool cats, guys who are doing very good or very well in their industry. So today we have Lazi Mathebula, aka Gray Spaces, aka Bombisa. We don't know, he'll tell us. What's up, Laz, man?
What up, dog?
Okay, with it.
Nah.
Welcome, man. Thank you for showing up, man. Thank you for showing up.
Yeah.
Who is Laz, man?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think that for me, that thing changes all the time. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm Lazi, you know, I'm from Alex. I am an illustrator and, I mean, started as an illustrator and then, you know, evolved into other things, such as like...
Sorry, man.
No, continue, yeah.
Such as, you know, started as an illustrator, moved on to like production, moved on to like designing clothes and, you know, finding other ways to like, you know, express the creative narrative or my creative narrative in that sense, you know. So, yeah, man, that's who I am. From a kid from the hood, who started out and then moved to the city to go explore there, and then things kind of worked out, you know, as time, you know, goes by.
No, it's interesting. You just spoke about the changes. Lazi Gray Spaces, Bombisa. You sort of spoke about change and evolving. So, what had shifted between Gray Spaces, Bombisa? What's up with that?
The thing is, like, Bombisa is my real name. It's the name that I was given by my grandmother.
Okay.
So, obviously, when you come into the scene, you come as what you want to be perceived as, you know?
Yeah.
Until you come into your own. And then I think I came into my own, and then obviously with time, and I realized that, you know, I am this person that my family actually calls me by more than I am Gray Spaces, you know what I'm saying? Gray Spaces is like trying to set your foot on the traffic, you know, the city traffic and whatnot, you know? But then I was like, I think I'm comfortable to create work that actually resonates with who I am and do things that are directly reflecting of, they're like a direct reflection of my life, and they reflect exactly who I am and where I come from and what I stand for, you know what I mean? So I think with the change, like now I'm into making products like sculpture and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
I saw that on the gram.
Yeah, those are like, they connect more with who I really am. And I'm not saying Gray Spaces wasn't who I was, but same difference. But then that guy was like doing other things, and this guy is also doing other things. And it's like these characters within me, you know, that keep sort of like coming out.
That's dope. Actually, so Kulelekasi, Alexandra. Yeah. So how did it come about? How did you find out about illustration and actually the potential of making a career out of it?
I mean, you know, as you know, I don't know, maybe some people, but for me it was like, there used to be like these art classes, no? Like drawing classes where you go to these guys, what Rasta, you know?
Sure,
Rasta. You know?
Rasta.
But it became too, it wasn't fly for me, you know? Because like, I couldn't draw like the other guys, and the other guys had like flair, you know? And I was like, yeah, but this is cool, but like, this is not where I want to take it, you know? I want to take it elsewhere, you know? And I was like more, as much as like it could be traditional in the approach of what you do, I was more also like global in my way of thinking and like how I want things to be done, you know? So coming from the hood, we have like, you know, I guess most people can attest to improvisation being a thing that we do without even noticing, you know what I'm saying? So like, if you don't have, for instance, a shack on its own, it's an improvisation, you know, I can't afford to build a house. Let me get these metal sheets and put them together and create shelter, you know? So that kind of mentality, I'm not trying to romanticize poverty, but like that kind of mentality was within me, you know, to be like, okay, I need to improvise, but be more creative and be cool about it, you know? So the intention to create started there, but then also you want an outlet to create within or for or represent, you know. So I feel like with the illustrations, when I went to Vega to go study advertising, obviously there's other things, and graphic design or art direction or whatever is like, you know, it's a part of it, but like the main part of it was like theory and understanding the game and structure and like strategy and all that, you know. And I focused more on design because I'm an artist. I like to draw, and so it kind of made sense. It married it nicely, you know. And then did graphic design. Felt like, yeah, this is cool, but it's not also what I wanted. I hit the glass ceiling way too quick. When the stuff that you could do on your computer, you can get on Shutterstock, you know, or the vectors that you use for while you're presenting, whatever, you can get it elsewhere. So I was like, let me create something that can set me apart from, you know, everything else that I was doing at the time, you know. So I was like, okay, cool. I like graphic design, but let me break the glass ceiling and do something else using a skill. And so I did digital illustrations. I started doing those kind of things, you know? And then from then on, I think now this thing is cool, but I need to produce it. Let me maybe print fabric and make a couch. You know, it's production. You know, so as you go, you
continuously evolve.
But from this one little thing that you can maximize to its bare maximum, you know, and just use what you can to just make sure that everything else, you know, works out the way it should.
Sweet. So
Sure.
I only found out about advertising, I think I was 22 years old, which is I'm old for, not too old, but to understand there's an industry called advertising as a career. I look back at school, you know, career day, you know, lawyers come through, engineers come through, and the creative industry is not really represented, you know. So how you talked about art has always been around you, but what about the kids who don't get for instance myself, who don't get exposed to gigs like this at a young age? So how do you think that problem can be solved without us fully depending on schools? Because clearly schools are more interested. I mean, it's valid, doctors are valid, engineers are valid, but we also valid as creatives because we speak to everyone, but our industry is so small and information is not really there. I mean, what's an illustrator? So I'm like, illustrator.
I think that's the thing. Is like we say we asking asking the right things in the wrong way. You know, it's like when you watch Generations from more in Duana, there used to be this New Horizons. So it was like an advertisement. So if you see these cats, about Jason, and
Senzo and them,
and the other guys with the wild hair and all that stuff. I mean, if you're creative, you connect to those guys. Like, oh, actually, this guy, he's my kind of dude because I see like so. I feel like there was that inspiration from there for me. You know, I saw it there. To see, actually, I can relate to these guys. I can be, and then, you know, funny enough, at some point, I ended up working with these guys. Some of the guys that were that were on Generation specifically. I ended up working with them in other ways. It's like, oh yeah, you were that guy. I was like, yeah, and then he was that guy in real life too. You know? So, and also in communication is things like what I was saying was like the right things are said in a kind of wrong way. Not in a wrong way, but in a difficult and not understandable, not so easy to understand way, you know. Illustration is to draw. That's pretty much it, you know. And if you're a drawer, a scaler, they tell you like you won't make money being an artist, you know. And I'm not gonna say that you can, but I'll say it's not necessarily about the art making you money. It's about you making money, and then what you do to make money, that's up to you.
Okay.
It's like it's not art that makes money. It's the man that makes the money.
Okay, I see.
I can be in the block selling whatever. If I make money, I make money. It doesn't matter what I do to make the money. So my mentality was always like, if I do the art and I find a way to make money out of that, let me do it. It's not necessarily dependent on whether the industry can hold or not, you know. So now, for those that are like not exposed, then that's not their thing.
Oh, snap.
You know, because if you want something, you will go get it. You will expose. It will be like around you, like the opportunities will be favorable, if I may say. You know, because there's no way you could say you want to be a doctor, mara say you want to be a doctor so bad, but you always in the grounds, modalities.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't connect. But if you want to be a doctor, you yourself know what you need to do. You know what kind of triggers, what you connect with better. It's like if you're an artist and you see like a graffiti something on the wall, you're like, oh damn, that's me right there, you know. So I'm gonna go past this block all the time so I can get this inspiration so I can do it myself. So for those that are not exposed to it, then it's not you, you know. You are something that is you are exposed to, and pay attention to that. Not to say that you shouldn't be like multi-disciplinary, but you have to start on one. You have to start on one sort of like thing and then move according to, you know, like your pace.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, maybe I might be wrong, but I think for me it's more like, are you around?
Yeah.
Even if you're not around it, you could be going to church, and then within the church there's a house. Next to that house there's someone who's painting a wall, for instance.
Yeah.
But you are going to church, and then you go to ask, yo man, I want to do this thing, and then they'll tell you like, yo, do this, and the third. So you know, there's always ways
to figure it out.
You figured it out.
Yeah.
You know? And you know what I'm saying?
So passion gravitates to the right and the relevant spaces.
And the energy kind of like communicates. If you feel like, oh, this is what I want to do, and your energy is like, it communicates to those things. I mean, the universe always will conspire on your favor if you are for it. But if you're not for it, we know what happens. We've seen it a number of times where people, you know, hold on to something that's not theirs and it falls.
Yeah.
You know, we don't. You know, it's like, but how? Because you know, we thought you had this. You know.
Yeah, man. I think into that. I was actually looking forward to this interview. To also talk to you about is your streetwear brand.
Right.
For people who don't know, you actually have a streetwear brand by the name of
Pack shot.
Yeah. Make sure you zoom in there, you know. Yeah, beautiful boys.
Shout out.
Maybe tell us a little bit more about that, the concept behind it, the name, everything. And it's a bit heavy as well, you know, compared to other shirts that I've rocked.
Right.
Yeah, just quality point. You know, maybe just touch on that and explain a little bit further on the concept and everything.
The Beautiful Boys was like an idea that it was supposed to be short. It was supposed to have short-lived.
Yeah.
You know, so the thing was, I called a friend of mine, and I'm like, yo, P. So I was reading this book, right? And then it says perfect boys only exist in books. Okay. It was an article or something. Then I read on it and then explained why. And then there's no, obviously, but then you're like, what exists in real life, you know? You know, the boy that exists is the beautiful one, because your mom would say that, you know, your girl would say that. Whatever, people do kind of like come across and say, yeah, you're beautiful until a certain time or a certain age. So it does exist, but it exists in a fog, you know. It's like, it's a mist, you know. You know where you're going, but you can't really see where you're going, type thing. So it exists, but you can't see it because we don't talk about it, but we know it's there, you know. So I hit him up like, yo, dog, look, I have this idea. Call me back in 5 minutes. I'll tell you about it and hang up, but then picture this on a t-shirt, right? Yeah. He's like, all right, cool. So I'm like, think about this. Are you ready? Cool. Beautiful Boys on a t-shirt. I'll call you back in 5 minutes. And I hang out. Yeah. He thinks about it, calls me back in 3 minutes. Yo, I see it. I think it's dope, you know. I think, you know, so I'm like, cool. So I do like, same time, I do like designs, same time. So I might design like a few. And then he's like, let's change this, So he helps me through that. And then I finally get to where, you know, second day of it, we print stickers first and then put them around, you know, move them around. And then, but while I was doing that, I was like also captioning all the photos that I was posting at the time, Beautiful Boys only, you know. And it caught on, and people were starting to call me Beautiful Boy in a week, and I was like, oh, hey, Beautiful Boy too. And I was like, all right, cool. So my sort of like test is working, right? So without anything, the week next I do like a t-shirt, rock it, and then, oh shit, I want this. And then we do like a pop-up, we sell a few, and it just caught on, you know. But then the narrative of it is like, it kind of, it doesn't change, but it evolves with time, you know, because then I'm like, okay, cool, this is an ongoing project. So a beautiful boy, what is a beautiful boy? A beautiful boy is like, because you can't be a handsome boy. You can be handsome, right? Yeah. But I can't objectify handsome, but I can objectify beauty. Okay. I can tell you what beauty looks like. I can tell you the actions, the features, the ways, all that stuff. I can tell you what beautiful. I know what it looks like when I see it.
Yeah.
And a handsome thing, not so much, because it's not objectifiable. You know what I'm saying? If that's a word. So now, with that, I had to create more narrative to it. So when I create kind of this idea like a tree, right? A tree is like, it's not the most beautiful looking thing, right? But it's not the most like feminine looking thing, to be honest, But it is it is beautiful, but it's not like, it's like, so also guys can be like that.
Beautiful in its function.
Masibiza ngesintu into enhle is not male or female, it's like indwana umuhle.
Intently.
Yeah.
So you find that, so the tree can bear fruit, which it can bear fruit, which it can be a companion to, giving birth to a kid or whatever. It can house, which can be a provider, and it can provide shade also, and it can same time be beautiful and bloom leaves and everything else. So it can reproduce itself. You can cut it and then it comes back again. You can trim it, and the next month the leaves are there. So that's like the mentality that I was going with. So so you look at it as like that, but then what happened was the people that caught on it more were like girls, because they're like, yeah, actually we get it. We get what beautiful boys is, and it has nothing to do with femininity. And if you feel like it has to do with femininity, then it's not for you. So that was me. It's like, yeah, if you feel like it's too feminine, cool, it's not for you. If you feel like and that's how I do it. It's like if someone says to me, yo, but what is beautiful boys? Boys are not supposed to be beautiful. I'm like, cool, it's cool. Those are your own convictions, and I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. This is not a debate, because people that buy the brand I don't get a chance to talk to them and explain to them what this means. I don't have like a narrative online to say, oh, this, it's more about this is what I'm doing, I want the t-shirt, bam, you figure it out. And then you're like, oh man, the reaction that I'm getting from people when I wear this t-shirt, so it's like, it's between me and you, the consumer. It's not about people that don't understand it. If you don't understand it, I don't have to explain it to you. You get it. That's why you want to buy it, And so it was like, for me, because I'm also gonna sort of like dead it, it's gonna be, I'm gonna call it off soon. Because
this guy.
Because it was like, for me, it's like it's run its course, and it was like a 2.5 year exhibition, like 2-3 years.
Yeah. So I think what caught our attention as well, like the way you put it out there compared to other streetwear brands in South Africa, I don't want to mention, but how some of them are sort of like invested in influencer marketing. How come you never took that route? Because
I'm in it too, like I love clothes. I'm in the game, so I see exactly what you guys see, and that's why it's now almost getting into that pit which I can't control. So I'm trying to stop it and then say, yeah, we did it. You know what I'm saying? Now it's on to the new ideas, because Beautiful Boys is like dope idea, but it's like, it's that. You can't do anything else about it. It can always be Beautiful Boys. If I sell you a t-shirt that is otherwise, it's like, okay, I'm buying it because I know you are a dope illustrator. And also South African market, it's super, super small. Like we like new to this whole thing. So people go with the hype. They don't really go with like aesthetic. They don't go with like, oh, this is sick, I see. They don't go with reference. So a lot of consumer that buys product here, they don't really know the references. They can't really reference back
understand
to
the culture
and globally. Like I'm talking, I was in Amsterdam and I was rocking this thing, and someone was like, yo man, this is dope. Where do I get this thing? From London, because then you associate it like that. I'm like, nah, are you from America? I'm like, no. Where you from? I'm from Joburg. Where's that? Oh yeah, damn, that's crazy. I didn't think that you guys do that. So now I do things that are like globally appreciated. Not necessarily for like local market. So you can understand it locally. That's why I also think they're not understood very well locally. They're more understood on a global scale.
Remind me of Malum Cool Cats. No, do me volume. So my man, just maybe to take you slightly back, in terms of Inyungu, making a living. You spoke, I think, a few instances before about, there's you being an artist. The art is not making you money, but the man makes the money. How, I mean, and the last time the first time I saw you were back in Bryanston, and you were doing a talk, and you spoke about how wongas told Spani, and so
Right.
you had to make a plan. So from coming from not getting a job to where you are now making money, how do you make money in such a small industry without compromising your authenticity? Because that's what happens quite a lot for creatives. It's
Right.
like you dope, you can draw, but then when you get there, they make you draw naked women, but you like to draw sneakers. I'm just making an example.
Right.
So how do you make money in such a small industry
I mean, for me,
without compromising your values and who you are?
it's about. I mean, I wouldn't say I make money like that, and I don't want to lie.
To
like,
live, man.
to stay me, right. So, but at the end of the day, what it is like I say, man, it's like you have to want to live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like when I wasn't getting gigs or like jobs, you know, I didn't understand why, you know, because I thought I was also. It's like I was way ahead of myself to think that I was the shit, you know, and that's a good way to think, you know what I mean? But then, right now in the industry is that you only as good as your last job, you know.
Okay.
So, and also there's a lot of us now.
Mm.
So now it's like, if you're supposed to get $50, you might get 20
Because it's about buy.
because it's buy, and now they're gonna split. Now they don't want one illustrator on a project; they want 5.
Yeah.
You know, now it's like these ideas like, oh yeah, we need to show diversity.
Yeah.
You know, but back then you would do a gig that would require like 5 people to do it, but you do it by yourself because the industry wasn't that, you know, there wasn't a lot of us doing this thing, you know. But now, so what I tend to do is like diversify myself, you know, so I can find ways to make multiple sources, to have multiple sources of income, you know, because at the end of the day, if you don't do that, then, I mean, for me, money, dog, I know I love money or whatever, but like it's not the thing for me, you know. We all have needs, we all have things to do, we have responsibilities, bills, and all that stuff, but money is really, really not the thing for me like that. I need it, you know, but the thing is being able to create things that give you leverage so you can get the money. And the money, when it comes, you become shocked as to, because you didn't think that you didn't think that the things that you were doing could result to, you know, that kind of level of whatever success, you know. So what I usually do is like I put my money on my things. So I put money on scale, put money on my talent, put money on production, so I could be able to like leverage off that even 10 years later. It's like when you talk about the stuff that I did, like the last year alone, it was more building myself as a sculptor or as a whatever it is that I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? And building that so that I can be able to get more gigs and more work and express this whole thing that I love, you know, because at the end of the day, it's pointless to have money, but uyahola iningi and uyayidla. So it's like a two-way thing where you get the money and you spend it, and you get it and you spend it. So for me, I get the money, build with the money, and then bask in the stuff that I'll do, and then I'll be chilling, and then you call me up like, yo man, I saw you did da-da-da-da-da. Can I pay you just for talking about that? Can I pay you for just doing a masterclass? Because now I have a new set of skills, like giving new life to yourself, you know? So I feel like for me, it's like when you diversify yourself in this industry, then you stand a better chance. Because also people think that everybody want to be busy all the time, you know? It's like, yeah, I'm busy. But then those words come with currency. They come with like a backup. I don't talk like that. I'm working. You know, if I'm working. You come to the studio, you'll see me working.
Sure.
You know, so I don't want to be. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Never really done that. So I've always been like about work. You know, I'm not like saying I'm always working. I'm busy. I'm this, that. I'm hard working. I'm just saying I'm about the work. You know,
Focused.
I'm focused on what I have to do, and I want to get things done. You know?
Sweet. So, my man's gonna give us some closing remarks, but before that, I think
My man's gonna give me some closing remarks.
I think what's your story, man? What's your message?
Yeah, the golden
Yeah,
nugget.
why do you do what you want to do? What's the message that you're carrying through your illustration, through the production that you're talking about? As you evolve, what's that message that you're always trying to put out there, whether to the youth or whoever?
I mean, I live by these words, like consistency, you know? And I don't know if you guys, if you really, really, really think about what consistency is, you understand what I'm talking about, you know? It's like when you're consistent, you, like, for instance, if Nengos, you know? And then your love for your child is consistent. No matter what happens, no matter how they treat you, no matter what they do to you, but if you maintain that consistency, then that's who you're gonna become when they talk about you 10 years from now. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a shitty person, stay shitty. That's you being consistent. And then it'll always comes out like, yeah, but all these years you've been a shitty person. And now what you're doing is like, it's like consistency is like building pretty much, right? But then let's say you have like a gunk of cement that you're throwing, you know, so as you throw it, and then it becomes, that's you being consistent. And as it grows, it becomes this thing that you've done with over your consistency. So when you look back, you can look at this thing that you've built with your consistency. Could be good, bad, whatever, but that's what you did. You know? So for me, it's like I stay consistent, man, you know, and consistent not only to work, but then to if you know me like this, that's how you're gonna know me for the rest of your life. I'll never turn around and be something that I'm not. You know, like when you met me at Woolies, I didn't know you like that, You know what I'm saying? But I didn't really treat you like I didn't know you like that. So
sure.
I'll treat you like, okay, cool, yeah, sure, of course, and then we can talk because that's who I am. And even now, I think I won't change, but then with consistency, you get better. Our relationship as homies gets better. Like, Sasamang Bona is a different conversation because we're creating a moment, right? And this is a moment in history where if it happens that you read through the history books and say, oh yeah, Uspuda no Lazi, nobody, like the guys with, you are like in that page. I'm in your page, you're in my page. So for me, it's like if you can maintain that consistency, you'll see good things happen. Like if you guys do the, like, for instance, you're doing this thing, right? You tell me if you on your 20th episode, and tell me what has been different. If something remains the same, then I'm not even gonna say you're not doing something right, but whoever is saying that is not seeing it, because there's no way that it's gonna remain the same. Like, let's just be honest. There's no way. No matter what you like, that's the thing about it. Like, look, this is not even rocket science. So this is your 3rd episode, right?
Sure.
On your 20th episode, what do you think is gonna happen? Do the projection. Like, do the projection. What do you think is gonna happen? It's like when you wash a sneaker every day. What do you think is gonna happen? At some point, it's gonna wear off, right?
Sure.
And so what I'm saying is, like, if you keep doing what you're doing, on the 20th episode, I'm not even talking about the 10th, because then a lot of shit would have happened then. But on episode 20, I'm sure something now was a one. And this is a thing, it's hard to be consistent. So you all might beef or whatever, not, you know, knock on wood, hope that does, you know. But it's like, if you beef or whatever, there's a lot of things that if you remain consistent, there's a science to it where a lot of things, beautiful things can happen. Your first video has different views than your second video to the 3rd to the 4th to the 20th, you know. So for me, that I can attest to that. Like, consistency is just beautiful, and patience, you know.
As men. Thank you, man.
Sub-Zero? Man, what do you want me to say after that, though? What do you want me to say after that? Like, no, man, like, truly appreciate you coming through.
No, it's all good.
You know, I feel like a lot of us shared in the space now that will contribute to people that are sort of like watching, those who are in the creative space, those who are also not in that space as well, you know. Man, like, you when you said the whole thing around passion and leading you to the right spaces, even though you might be limited in terms of resources or information, I can relate to that, you know. So Thanks for coming through, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this felt like a master class.
Life is a master class.
Life is a master class. And how can people get a hold of you on social media?
At Bombisa.
Yeah,
on social media.
Yeah, it'll show up somewhere.
Yeah.
So that is episode 3 of season 2. Shout out to our man Lazi Mathebula, aka Bombisa. Shout out to the man Tab0.
Yeah.
And shout outs to me.
Shout outs to the cameraman.
Yeah.
We've got James now.
What's
and
up?
also
Hey,
the
James,
Fedi. Say James.
Alright, say what about Fetu. We out.
Chauffeur.